golfers, let's talk about when your club touches the ground, right? We talk about the sole and where it's going to touch the ground relative to the ball, right? So here's your golf ball here. I'm just using my cell phone as a picture for you, okay? Okay, and the fairway's going that way, so I'm hitting like this, okay? When you come down, if I see on video that your club is starting to touch the ground back in here, maybe inch and a half, okay? That ball will leave with no speed. It'll look ugly, okay? And then if you say, well, I got it closer in here, Jeff, I got it in here, maybe it's only 3/4 of an inch behind the ball, right? Then it's gonna have a little bit more speed, but it's still not gonna be real crisp, right? Okay. And then I go, well, what happens if it's up here on top, right? What if the sole comes up in here? Well, I go, well, I'm not gonna be able to get the ball up the face. It's just gonna be topping, it's gonna drive it into the ground. So you want to take this picture and you want to go, well, where do you want it to come down, right? You want it to come down up here on the front edge of the phone, right? You want that club, right? You want that club face to be coming down, right? The club face is coming, but the sole, right? The sole still hasn't touched, right? So now it's getting collected, right? Up against the face, right? Okay, and then the sole is going to touch right here. But once you make that contact, right? Once you make that contact with the ball, that ball is going to get compressed. It's going to squeeze into the face. It's going to start to rotate up. It'll find some place to launch off of, right? Okay. So the sand wedges, it'll roll up higher and launch higher than your 7-iron, et cetera, right? So always ask yourself, where are you touching the ground, right? When you think about this position here, when you go back in this model, you think about, okay, when I start off in here, where's the shaft, right? Or excuse me, where's the grip, okay? So the grip is going to be on the front edge of the ball, right? Because the shaft comes down, it's an offset hosel set back right there. So the shaft is going to be up here by this point you want to, have the club come down. So make sure, one, when you're setting up and you look at yourself in video in address position, make sure you don't have that shaft too far back or too far forward, right? Some people want to try to artificially make a bunch of forward shaft lean, and others just want to sit with the shaft behind. But the grip should be pointing right here. That's where that would be a perfect spot for that grip. So now, as I start to come, what am I doing with the grip, right? I'm moving the grip away. I'm moving it away from its original position. So what if I slide forward? If I slide forward, right, okay, now what? Now the angle of attack looks like this. It's going to be very, very steep right here through the ball, and that's not going to work, right? What if I rotate the grip away, and I lean back too far, I fall back right here? Well, where's that going to make the contact? Back over in here, right? So I have to make this move where I take, and because I rotated the grip two directions, it was in and it was up, I've got to rotate it down, and then I've got to get it back in closer to me, right? So when I see people, I go, hey, you're hitting back here, you have to get the grip. When you rotate, right, you have to get the grip to get closer to the golf ball, right, before it starts to release. Otherwise, you're going to make ground contact here, right? If you slide forward and you don't rotate, you're going to make ground contact. When you make ground contact, the sole's going to hit up here on top of the ball. And remember, you want that face to drive through. All of these back here, I got words for these back here because there's no speed on them. They are dead on arrival, right? When that club gets down to the dirt there's nothing on that face, right? The ball's not going to go very far at all. So work on that. Hopefully this kind of clears up in your mind what's happening, because it's way down there and it's happening real fast. But you don't want that club to touch here. You don't want that club to touch here. You don't want that sole to touch here, right? You want the sole to touch on the front edge of the ball and have that face come down. Collect that ball, squish it into the face, and spin it up there beautifully and correctly, okay? So I'll see you in the next video.